you ready? The time has come. Let the show begin.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Joe? How's it going?
How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Super pumped. I want to give it a minute just to make sure it comes on live for everybody, so we'll just delay for 1 second here.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll dive right in. While I'm doing that, where are you in the country? Are you here where I'm at?
I'm actually in Ohio, so I still live in Ohio. I travel out to Maryland usually 2, sometimes 3 weeks a month, and then I'm usually in some other part of the country. I try to be home Thursday nights, so I'm home Friday and the weekends. I still have a 12 and a 13-year-old and a wife, so still have to be home sometimes for them.
It's a shame. It's a shame they get in the way, right? Just kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Totally kidding. All right, let's see here. Good to go. Cool. So obviously you kind of led into it. If you don't mind, I want to give you kind of the stage just so people go, who the heck is this guy if they don't know who you are? And why is he going to Maryland 3+ weeks out of the year?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Out of the month.
Steve Cespedes, I've been in the industry 23 years. I started out at Softlight Windows. So I was with Softlight Windows for 16 years, 16 and a half years. Worked for Roy Anderson. Started out right out of college, went to college at Ohio University, born and raised in Ohio, played basketball and all that. Went to Ohio University to be a sports broadcaster, believe it or not. Saw where people were moving to Beckley, West Virginia for about $13,000 a year out of a prestigious broadcasting school. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do that. So my father was an attorney for Associated Materials, actually, and had started doing his own thing and actually was working, doing a project for Roy when I graduated. So I met Roy, who was the owner of Softlight at the time, the day I graduated. And had a summer job, wasn't too worried about it. It was like, you ever think about selling windows? I'm like, not really, but I do want to get into sales. So went and interviewed with them. And, 2 months later, didn't hear back and made a phone call to him and said, hey, thanks for the opportunity. My summer job's over. And he goes, hold on, let me get something for you. And actually offered me, I worked in the plant, worked in customer service. They were starting a new thing, which was called PowerBiz, which was an online ordering system, learned the business that way. And I got to say, the best thing I ever did was it took me a year before I got into sales. Number one, I had to grow up. I mean, I was in college. It was a little crazy. I needed that year to grow up a little bit. But number two, I learned the business inside and out, and I learned my product inside and out. So when I got into the field, I was 23, just turning 24 years old. And, young punk, who you're going to go into calling all these people. And they're like, well, what are you going to teach me? Or what are you going to sell me? The one thing I knew was my product and my company. And I knew how to answer any and all questions that they had. I knew how to get them on. Online ordering was brand new at the time, and I could teach them A to Z on that. And I really was their advocate in being able to be that liaison. When I did that, I went out into the industry and I started I'll tell the story if anybody's been in the industry a while. A guy by the name of Jack Tolka, Jack's Wholesale Windows was my first big account that I landed. At that time, $3 million a year to a manufacturer was a big deal. And we were going to do a demo to launch and all that. And he had all 28 reps there. And I got up there and I started puking product. And I didn't really know what I was doing when I did it. And I knew my company, I knew my product, but I didn't know how to pitch it into the home. And he was a very arrogant man, not a bad man, just arrogant, and said, young man, let me tell you how to do this. And he did a few things. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But some things that I was just kind of like, Well, I walked out of there and I said, never again. So I went and ingratiated myself with the Grassos, the Yohos, and all of the industry experts at the time, and really had to learn how to do it. I also happened to
wait. This is as a dealer rep, if you will.
Yeah, I was a manufacturer's rep, and I learned how, and I realized that we didn't know how to sell in the home. I mean, no offense to manufacturers reps out there, but we're generally not very good at how to teach people how to sell in the home. So I wanted to be different. And so I ingratiated myself. I did Rick Grasso's closers camp 10 times at least. I really wanted to learn the A to Z soup to nuts on how to sell. Happened to get another opportunity. So I was still selling, still working for Softlight, still doing, B2B sales, but really trying to hone in my craft on that. Then Aaron and Harley, whose father actually, Aaron and Harley Magden, whose father was still owning Regency at the time in Cleveland, happened to finally bring their sales reps to Softlight, and we're going to launch the Softlight product with them. And we had a gentleman at the time who was in charge of doing the demo. And at our first break, Aaron came out and said, if somebody else doesn't do the demo when we come back, we're walking out of here and never selling your product again. And Roy looked at me and said, "You're on." So I went up there. From that moment on, I was very confident in what I was doing, and I had honed in my skills enough to we landed that account. Of course, they eventually started Window Nation, which is where I met you, and I was one of the only rep who was ever able to train their reps from the beginning. And so long story short, that's how I got into the business and learned how to do all of that. I came to Vytex Windows 7 years ago. This is my 7-year anniversary actually this week. So I came to Vytex 7 years ago as vice president of sales. Andy Weinrub, our founder, had been recruiting me through the Window Nation connections for years. And, eventually over time, as Softlight was sold and some things happened, I decided to take that leap. I told him I didn't want to move, though. My family was well established here. My wife works for a good company. She's pretty high up and has honed in her skills and her craft. And I didn't want her to have to start over. My kids are, a lot of friends, family, and all of that around here. So I decided, I got to travel anyway. So 7 years ago, I took the leap and been here ever since. It's been fantastic. Really, really grown Vytex as a brand. When I got here, we were, a little more than a $30 million company that was half labor. We offered a measure and install service and half manufacturing. So we were one of those. We're really strongly circulated in the Maryland, DC, Northern Virginia market, and that was about it. Now we're 80 plus million. We're only about 10 million in labor. We've really grown and expanded our manufacturing. Our goal this year is to get up to close to about 100 million in sales. We've expanded our territories out into, as far west as St. Louis. We're opening up the Wisconsin and Chicagoland markets starting in 2 weeks. We just opened up in Florida at the beginning of towards the tail end of last year, the beginning of this year, with the most energy efficient product Florida's ever seen, the Potomac Coastal Window. And we've really grown and expanded. We've hired some reps. We have a rep in the Northeast and the Southeast that are fantastic, that have grown those territories up into Massachusetts, down into the Georgian land, and have really, really grown and continue to grow. And what we like to do,
let's see, I may have lost him here. Hold on 1 second, folks. Technical difficulties. Let's see. Let's see if I can get him back on. Hold on 1 second. Oh, man.
We're having massive windstorms.
There we go.
We're having massive windstorms here. I apologize.
This ain't the Joe Rogan show, buddy. I can promise you that. It's okay.
Well, it's 40 plus mile an hour winds here today.
God, you never sounded so good, Steve. I mean it. Sorry about that. What we like to do at Vytex is we like to hire reps who are well trained and versed in everything, not just being that rep, that B2B that the customer really needs and leans on, but also being able to sell their reps and teach their reps how to sell the maximum value of our product line in the home. And that's really what focuses and what makes us different. And I love it. I can speak to that. And that's why I was so excited when I made that post yesterday. Is you hit on it. Very few people would I ever allow into, as a sales manager, leader, what have you, would I say allow, but I mean that, allow into my weekly, or monthly, anything, but mainly weekly sales meeting. And you were, if not the only one, very short list, right? Because again, most of the time the reps are looking at whomever and going, have you ever even been at the kitchen table at all? And it doesn't, sure. You can't hide it, right? You can just tell. and it kind of leads me to one of the topics I want. I don't know if you're seeing it on your side, but in my travels, especially in the past 2 months, I've been all over the place, all types of, window companies, exterior, bath, closets, all of it, turf. I don't know if it was a COVID thing. I don't know what it is. And again, I could be way off here. It just seems like we have given up on actually, I don't want to say selling, but I do, but the demonstration. If you go back to say that you brought up Grosso, the sizzle, there is none. I don't know if it's tech and we think we're just going to do it with pictures on it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you're even seeing that. I am. And I wanted to get your take because it's something that always impressed me about you was like, it's like, holy God, never have I seen a demonstration like that about, again, what typically people think is a window, right? It goes up, it goes down, it tilts in for easy cleaning. What else song and dance do you got, buddy? Come on. Let's go. Right?
Yes. Well, there's no doubt about it. I'm seeing that out there. There's no doubt. I think tech is a part of it. There's no doubt about it. It is easier if you're using a demonstration, if you're using something like Engage. Engage is great. It keeps everybody on the same page. It tells them where to go. But if we're only using something like that and not expounding on what's on the page, we're not really doing any selling, and it's really not separating yourselves. I've always been a big advocate of a couple of things. Obviously, number one, when you first come into the home, you have to sell yourself. You walk in, you knock on the door, you step back, you have a smile on your face, your card in your hand, and you do not enter that home until they welcome you into their home. It's the best way to do it. You're going around. I used to tell people do 15, 20 minutes of warm up. There is no more time for that. Find something when you're doing your assessments that you can try to relate to them on. Ask them some questions and try to sell yourself in that time frame. Absolutely sell yourself in that time frame and find a way to connect with that human being. But it's not a lot of 15, 20-minute of warm up. People don't have time for that. Always, always, always when you're doing your assessments, try to have both homeowners with you and ask the proper questions to find out their why. If you're just going in there and saying, I'm going to shoehorn this product and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and this is what I'm going to do every single time without asking them why you're even there, what the hell are we doing? Yeah. Find their why. I always say there's 12 to 15 different reasons people are looking to replace their windows. They called you to their home and they're allowing you to enter their home because there is a need. Find out what's most important, not just to the one homeowner, but to both homeowners. Let's be real. Who are we selling to? 95% of the time, it's the boss. 95% of the time, the boss is the wife or whoever is the person who is the most vocal and wants to get that done the most. So find out what's the biggest reason for it. The other person or the other homeowner that happens to be a part of that conversation, find out what's most important to them. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be on the same page and aligned on what's most important to the boss compared to what's most important to the other person. But if we ask the right questions and gear towards and funnel that decision maker and that other homeowner down, funneling what's most important to them during our presentation, we can make sure we focus on that the most. Before you even enter the home, before you do anything, make sure that you know your product front ways, sideways, back, forward, whatever. I want to know that I have the answers to every single question they could ask me on that test. Okay. So the only way I can do that is preparation. Make sure that you're well-versed and well-prepared when you go into that home, that you know your product inside and out. I'm not saying we're going to pitch that product the exact same way every single time. There are certain things in my product line that I make sure that I talk about every single time, but I want to make sure that I can focus on what's most important. I'll give you an example. Growing up as a child, I had very, very bad allergies, right? I missed 50 days in 5th grade and 60 days in 6th grade. I was highly, highly allergic to dust, mold, dust mites, pollen, bacteria. I just was constantly sick. When I was growing up, my mother was looking for anything that could make my life easier and in turn make her life easier. So if I simply ask the question, do you or anybody in your home currently suffer from allergies? And my mom says, oh my God, Dewey, I have a son, blah, blah, blah. I know I am going to focus on the healthier aspects of my product line. What would that be? Number one would be the low air infiltration rating. I'm going to talk about that a lot. Number two is going to be the spacer system that I use because it's going to be the least amount of condensation allowed to build up on the inside of the windows. And number three, most importantly, it's going to be the weather stripping. How do I have a weather stripping pitch? Well, weather stripping that we talk about, I have a triple fin weather strip. So it has 3 fins, 3 barriers and diversions. The more barriers and diversions you create, the tougher it is for air and water to come into your home. I'm going to have on an average 85 United inch window over 600 inches of weather stripping. So I'm going to have 3 times the amount because most Energy Star efficient windows have about 200 inches of weather stripping. So I'm going to have 3 times the fin, 3 times the amount, 9 times the value on that alone. But wait, there's more. I'm also going to talk about the fact that it is a silver-based antimicrobial protectant. What does that mean? It's going to help prevent those allergy triggers, dust, mold, mildew, dust mites, pollen, and bacteria from building up on my windows and coming to your home. Those types of allergy triggers love to build on damp, wet spaces. What's a damp, wet space on a wall with windows? It's the weather stripping. So it becomes a breeding ground for all those allergy triggers. Now, all of a sudden, I have talked about something when somebody's looking to replace their windows about creating a healthier living environment that they probably had no idea would even exist. So now all of a sudden, I'm not just another window company. Now I'm significantly different. That's just one example of all the different things that we need to have in our product line and in our demo to help separate us. Because I never want to have at the end of my demo saying, I got to think about it. If I ask the question before I give them before I give them their price, and I ask the question, is there anything this window doesn't have that you wish it does? That answer better be no. Is there anything this window does have that you wish it didn't? That answer better be no. If that answer is anything but no, I haven't earned the right to then present a price. I have to go back and figure out what that is and if there's something I can do about it. So there's a lot of different things that we can say, going off on a little diatribe here, but those are the things that are so important.
Can I chime in, though,
Yeah.
and play a little bit? With that same example, it's kind of a direct opposite. Something that'll turn off a customer is I'm in front of your mother with your allergy. She has a child who has these allergies, and I'm wasting valuable, the rep who doesn't listen or doesn't ask, I'm wasting valuable time demoing the fact that my window goes up and down and tilts in for easy cleaning. Hey, if I could, because of the allergies, they'd all be picture windows. I'm never going to open the window. And now you have a rep who's sitting in front of you going, oh, yeah, it's up and down, it's up and down, when you're like, it doesn't even pertain to me. I don't open the windows. As I told you, my kid over here is dying of allergies.
Right.
You think I'm just in the fall or in the spring just going to let you? Oh, yeah. But I see that all the time, right? We had an ice storm back in the day, and I'm doing a ride along. I'll never forget this. And the gutters ripped off of people's homes. And the rep were there for gutters. The rep spent 20 minutes talking about, demonstrating something about, asking questions around, hey, did you ever notice any pulling away on your gutters? And the guy goes, they're laying in the fucking front yard, bro. You stepped over them. Do you know what I mean? You just watch people tune out. My point is the time that we have in the home is valuable.
Yes.
And if you start talking about something that either shows you didn't pay attention or something that just in general doesn't pertain to them, check out. Uh-oh, we're back. It'll come around. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. I know Steve's in somewhere in Ohio dealing with some heavy winds today, so bear with us. We are live. Let's see if I can bring him back. Let's see. Hold on.
Sorry, bud.
There we go. We're back. That's
Sorry,
good.
buddy. Yeah, we have major windstorm. Every time I get a big gust, it's like that's got to be 50 mile an hour. It throws me off.
It was
I'm there with you, man.
We wanted to talk about our unofficial sponsors: Zinn, Skoll, Budweiser, Miller Lite.
It's all good.
Good timing.
It's all good. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I apologize deeply. This is the worst windstorm we've had here in quite some time.
It's all good. But I just wanted to chime into that side of it too. It's when you don't either listen and you start talking about something that's clearly doesn't pertain to their situation, they're going to check out. So
we can become robotic, right? And that's why I really think it's so important to know your product inside and out.
You're good.
I said, know your product inside and out, and make sure that that you're comfortable with it. So then you can be a little bit more viable. You can change course a little bit when you're in the home. You can't just say, I'm going in with this narrow mindset and this is what I'm going to do. You should have the ability to be able to be flexible when you're in the home. Because then they realize, oh my God, this isn't a robot, it's a human being, and they're trying to help me out.
Yeah.
And that's how you sell it. I always sell yourself, sell your company, find their why before you even get into your product line. You ask the questions why you're there. You find out those solutions. And then by the time you go grab your product line, your demo, in my case, a window, from that moment on, I never use the term I, me, we. It's all you, you're yours, because I have found the solution for them. It's their product for their home. Your product, your home. Look at how your window operates. When you're going around and you're doing your assessment, make sure both homeowners are operating the windows in their home. Why? Point out the fact that the windows on the first floor are not locked. Did you know that over 70% of all home invasions are done through windows, not doors? So let's talk about, is safety and security important to you? Most people have windows on the first floor that are unlocked. Either they don't know they're unlocked or they can't lock them. Like, start talking about all those things, bringing that information up. If they have the guillotine effect where they go to operate the window and it automatically shuts down on them and it's like a guillotine, make them feel that. If they go to operate the window and they can't quite get it, well, no wonder you've never operated the windows. You never had the opportunity to.
Yep.
So make that pain fresh in their mind, and making sure you do that. I have a friend, Neil in Bimbo, who works with me, told me when you're in that appointment, it's like you're a Broadway actor, right? Broadway actors get 7-8 shows a week, right? And when they're on stage, man, they're on. Well, we get 8 to 12 opportunities to a homeowner every week. That's our time to shine. That's when we're on stage. That's our time to be at our best. And if you're not enthusiastically promoting your product and doing a full demo based on their needs, you're selling yourself and your company short. Leads are not getting any cheaper, people. Leads are extremely expensive. They're harder and harder to come by. So that lead needs to be precious. We need to squeeze the most out of it and give that homeowner the most information possible. And we can't do that if we don't do a proper demo.
When you're demoing, because like someone like yourself that, let's just call it what it is, truly an expert in your product, thankfully, right? That's a good start. You don't go, say you know 20 things. You're not demoing all 20 things because are you only trying to pick out a few that tailor to their situation, or are you demoing, say, all 20 features maybe? Or
so it depends on the engagement of the customer. When I go in, so I do a lot of B2B sales, and I teach how to do B2C. So when I go in, I'm going to tell them everything and how to do. But for the homeowner, for the B2C guy, the salespeople that are going in the home, it's so important to understand and ask questions ahead of time. So I'm not saying that you skip parts of the demo, but you kind of skim over them. You really focus on what's most important to that customer. And the only way you're going to know that is by doing a proper assessment when you're there at the beginning, because you could be spinning your wheels. Now, sometimes you get those forceful franks that are saying, I'm not buying today. I don't give a shit what you say. I've had 4 other guys, blah, 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 blah. Fine. But you ask the questions anyway, because those forceful franks, as soon as you find that one thing that they don't know about, or as soon as you get to that one point where why you're there and you change them, all of a sudden the guy goes and does this. And when the guy goes and does this, guess what you've just become? You've become their window guy or window gal. And when you're that window guy or window gal, now he's going to not only buy today, he's going to be the best advocate for you and tell all his friends, no, I got the guy. I got the gal. I got the person that's going to be your window person to all his friends and family, because he's found it, because he's the smartest person in the room, right? How are you ever going to know to get to that point if you're not asking the right questions at first and being able to solidify and slam on that point hard home to that consumer? So that's why it's so important to know your product inside and out. I'm an advocate. To me, air infiltration has been a huge part of my career. I've only sell product line that I believe in, I'm passionate about. That's why I'm at Vytex. I'm extremely passionate about our Potomac Coastal and our Potomac window. To me, it's the best window in the marketplace. It's a 0.01 air infiltration. So on my point, no matter what homeowner says, when I ask the question, do you currently have leaky drafty windows? 99 out of 100 times they do. I wouldn't be there if they didn't. But even if they told me they did, they didn't. I'm going to hit hard on air infiltration. To me, it's a huge part of what we do. Gentleman by the name of Kevin Kosnick and I helped develop the air infiltration CFM pitch. At this point, 15 years ago, and it's been transformative because it's a way to describe air infiltration into units of measurement that people use and utilize in everyday life. And it's also a big way to compare against the biggest and best names in the industry, not bashing them, just comparing against them and showing how different it truly is. Because a vinyl window could be seen as a commodity, as one vinyl window is compared to the next. You've got to make the difference. And at Vytex, we always like to say we partner with our dealers, and we only choose dealers, and dealers only choose us that truly believe in that and have a passion in that. And I believe it to my core that. And so a homeowner is going to say, well, who the hell is Vytex, right? They don't know.
Yeah.
It's our job in the home to explain why that partnership exists, why we chose each other, and why the homeowner should choose that, because it's the right product for their home and for them. So.
That's all. The Potomac is a tank for sure. But it comes, and that brings up another point, comes with a price tag, but it gets that price tag when it's properly demonstrated.
100%. How are you going to sell? I mean, anybody can go in. When I first started the industry, it was, it was still 189 with window work. But how are you going to compete? How are you going to compete? Well, how are you going to compete is you go in and you show. Why in the world would anybody do that? I tell this all the time. 95% of all homeowners, the biggest investment they've made is their home. There's only two projects you can do that have an immediate impact on both the inside and the outside of your home, replacing windows and doors. So why is there a mindset of that the homeowners have, or that we allow the homeowners to have, that anything better than what's in my house now? Is it? Do you want the next window this home's ever going to want, or the last window this home's ever going to need? There's a big difference between next window and last window. The most expensive thing a homeowner can do is buy the wrong product from the wrong company the first time. Because number one, they're going to end up doing it again. When they do it again, they're going to say, I'm not going to make that same mistake the second time. So that a lot of times they overpay the second time. And now you're doing that project twice. You paid one price and then overpaid the second time. The second most expensive thing they can do is do nothing, as we do it in our assessments. They've owned the home for a long time. They've been thinking about doing this project for a long time, and they know that they need to do this project. Energy bills are not going anywhere but up, as we've all seen. So now all of a sudden, energy can become a big part, and energy savings can become, again, a big part of our pitch. So the second most important thing, expensive thing they can do is doing nothing. The best thing and most prudent and long-term, most return on their investment they can do is buying the right product from the right company the first time, the last time. And it's our job to show them that. We have 100%. To be the experts.
I mean, that's why I would bring you in quite often, especially if we needed to move some Potomac. Because if you don't properly build the value around it, it does go back to then it's just a window, and cancellation rates skyrocket. We see it all the time.
100%. And there's a lot of tools to our, in our industry now that we'd never had before. I mean, we have masterful presentations with the Leaps, the one-click contractors. And like I said, the Engage, we have tools such as Caleb Nelson's company, a buddy of ours, Destination Motivation. There's a lot of tools to help us with all of that. But why have all of those great things and tools to our advantage and then sell an entry line product? I mean, to me, that makes no sense. I mean, the biggest investment they've made is their home. Why do they want a Me Too product? Why wouldn't they want the best of the best that they can get at a reasonable price?
For sure. I'm still, like I said, I always get blown away because every time you and I talk, I go, wait up, this is the vendor, this is the manufacturer's rep. Why is someone like yourself, and again, I know you have to present it to a bunch of rowdy, highly emotional salespeople at once to get them then to go in the home and do it, but why they don't take this and then transfer it and master it in the same fashion. The fact that you influence salespeople, the hardest, typically to then do it, we can't influence homeowners. So that's a big challenge. So being that you do kind of bounce around all across the country, how many total dealers do you have?
At Vytex, we have about 250 active dealers, 200 active dealers.
Oh, we may have lost you again. But I know you're coming back, so I'm going to hold out. We're good. Dealing with some technical difficulties, but I know for a fact he'll be back. Apparently the wind in Ohio is crazy today. Give me 1 second. Let's see if we can get him back. Let's see.
All right, we're back.
There we go. We're back.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry. So 200 to 250 active dealers. You know, my time is valuable, so I try to hit up as many as I can when I can, but I also am in the home a lot. I mean, I'm actually at the home office a lot, you know, hoping to run a lot of the day-to-days of the company and making sure we're moving forward. So, you know, I was just down in Florida 2 weeks ago. We're launching a new product down there. We have some of the best dealers in that market that on a brand new product that are embracing this. And I was just, you know, launching with a couple, you know, my buddy Dan Beckner, a couple other large dealers down there that are embracing that product line, and they allow me to go into their sales meetings and launch and train their dealers. And to me, that's the ultimate sign of respect. You know, I when I first went down to a lot of companies, especially years ago, they're like, we don't let manufacturers reps talk. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Just allow me to do my thing. Give me 2 hours, and I promise you at the end of it, you're going to either be excited, you're going to learn something new, and you're going to walk out of there with an enthusiasm to be like, let's go. Let's go. And that's my job. My job is to get you fired up when you take that product line, and my goal is to get you whoever you're selling. And, you know, no offense to my competitors, but I want them to take whatever window they're selling that's currently in their car, throw it in the dumpster, take mine out, and let's go. We're hitting it. We're going, baby. Let's go.
That's
Can't wait to sell this product line. And that's my job.
You're getting a good friend of mine in the group, Matt Nyberg, talks about it all the time. We got to start selling people on selling.
100%.
Why have we gotten away from this? Again, I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I've just seen it, and I know I got to be careful sometimes when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But I mean, I've seen it. It's like, hold on, man. We used to kill options. One, kill everything else. Not be afraid to put it on the table and go, is this gonna work? No. Take that off the table, and then ultimately position your product as the only complete solution. Like you said, how many times you want to do this? And they look at you like you got 10 heads. What do you mean? How many times I want to do this? I want to do it once. Cool. Then this ain't going to work. Here's the only complete solution based on what we've discovered here, right? Wouldn't you agree, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? But you got to demo it. Again, I don't need to know how the sausage is made, but if my price, one, carries a higher ticket, which probably everybody in this group, I hope, is probably not at the bottom. They're probably at the top or close to it. Then I need to know a little bit on why your price is ultimately different. And that's up to the salesperson.
100%.
It's just mind-boggling. The question I was going back to, is there anything else on your side that you see that you're like, man, whether it's, I don't keep wanting to hang my hat on it, but it's a very real thing. And yesterday was actually the 6-year anniversary of when the world shut down. I just realized.
Yeah.
So have you seen anything? Do you see anything else that got lost, if you will, from what life was like before that we need to get back to? And it could be anything. It may not even be sales related. There's a lot of owners in the group. There's a lot of, we got some marketing friends. We don't talk about them much, but they're in there. So anything you want to highlight that you think the group, like, because again, you get to see so many different outfits that you're like, you got your ear to the ground better than most. So I just want to.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I would say there's a couple things. Number one, I mean, the old industry vets are either dying off, have sold off, or are no longer in the day-to-day operations. So some of that knowledge that, quite frankly, is very, very difficult to get to really harness and know and gleam off of is gone away. So when that goes away, we have a tendency to kind of use technology to be able to use it. And there's nothing wrong with using technology, but it's almost a crutch. And a lot of times we use technology and we're not expounding on what that technology is allowing us to do. So technology is great. I embrace it. I mean, AI is coming. It's here. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But if we're not trying to look at using AI and things of that nature, we're going to be left behind. Presentations are great. PowerPoints, having a laptop, all that's great. But there's something to be said of slowing down, doing the presentation in front of the homeowner, showing them with a see, touch, feel, and having that wow factor, and being able to say, knowing what you know now, would you ever trust a product that didn't have this? getting those tie downs all the way throughout. It's hard to get a tie down if we're doing it on a demo on a laptop or on some type of handheld device, and we're not engaging that see, touch, feel, or that emotion. It's easy to ask that question and say, no, yeah, that makes sense. But are they really emotionally involved in it? And if we don't have enthusiasm, if we're not training that enthusiasm, it's hard to get that transfer of emotion to that homeowner saying, I got to have it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I got to have it. And you're the guy I got to get it from. So I will say this, there's a couple things. I'm not quite as doom and gloom as you, Joe. Not that you're doom and gloom, but I'm seeing it that we're embracing it in some ways. I have some dealers who are just doing fantastic. I have others who are a little bit kind of in a rut, right? So the ones that are doing very, very well are training from within, are promoting from within, and are allowing the people that are going in the home to groom. It's at least a 2-week sales crash course in sales, and they're getting the A to Z, soup to nuts. They're really starting to understand the selling themselves, selling the company, and then finding the customer's why, and then selling the product line. And when they do it that way, I still see people doing very, very well. Where I'm seeing people struggle is, I've been doing it a long time. You can't teach me anything new. This works. And they are just in a rut. They're in that 22% to 18% close. They close at this number. They show this window. They only sell this window at this price point. And they're going to just get what they get. They're not going to push themselves to learn something new, to go out there and try it. They're not going to bring in a demo kit. If you're trying to sell a upper end product line and not bringing in a demo kit, you're doing yourself a disservice. I know the glass demo's been around forever, but not every homeowner has seen it. This is our one opportunity. And if they have seen it, they better not have seen it the way you do it. You better be able to do it differently and get that emotion out of them to be able to do that. People not bringing in corner cuts. It's crazy. You know how many people I know that don't even bring in a window? Windows are easily to be able to take it in. It's not that heavy. Bring in a window, show them what they're buying, get that emotion, have them see, touch, feel. So those are the things that I think because we got used to a virtual sale, and because we got used to not doing those things, we started still having success. And let's be real, 2020, 2021, we were all having success. I mean, it was easy. But by midway 2022, it became a little bit more challenging. It's become more and more challenging. And now we're going to have to find ways to go back to the basics. And going back to the basics is doing the A to Z, asking the right questions, the right time, bringing in your demo, bringing in your demo kit, showing a corner cut, doing the glass demo. And instead of spending an hour and a half at the home, spend that 2.5 to 3 hours, but have them be engaged. I'm a dad. I like dad corny jokes, but I like to make fun of myself a lot. So they're having fun. We're making fun of myself. I'm not trying to make it into, the Tonight Show or anything, but I'm trying to have fun, laugh at myself, a couple corny jokes, and be like, that was a bad one. There's a couple more coming. Have them get engaged, have them be a part of the process, have them have fun to where they're not like this. And the only way you can do that is by doing the full demo that you possibly can every time. And again, focusing on what's most important to them. Don't waste time on things that they don't care about.
Yeah. Discovery drives demo.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Everything else is, yeah. That's you brought up, I had a question there because you were talking about something that's so important. It'll pop back in my head. But the other side of it I wanted to ask you about, because it has come up and it is real. Two things. One, I don't mean to be doom and gloom, because actually I just think I look back to if you were in the industry before 2020, 2019, this is a great industry.
Oh,
we were handed a gift.
Yes, we were.
But it wasn't normal. I mean, I don't know about you, by the end of 2022, I was screaming uncle some days, going, man, I'd like to go back to where we weren't,
We tripled the size of our company in 2 years, and in manufacturing, you can't successfully do that.
Yeah, right. Culture goes to shit. You look in the wake. That's what I told a buddy of mine the other day. I'm like, dude, don't get me wrong. That growth was fun, but did you look in the wake at the bodies that we left behind us and there's the riffraff. But anyway, my point is, there's some people that are super doom and gloom that only have been in the industry while it was what it was, And it's like, hey man, 2019, I remember 2019 it was a challenging year for leads. It was a lot of things at once. And
100%.
we've gone through this cycle before. 2008 was wild with the market crash with housing and everything. And it's always been extremely resilient, the industry as a whole. But it's just like you're saying, getting back to the fundamentals. The question I did have for you around, oh man, it was demonstration, but it wasn't completely around that. I'll think of it again in a second. But
well, I'll expound on what you were talking about while you're thinking.
Oh, we'll be back. Let's see here. Try it one more time. Get them back here. Let's see if I can get them back. Steve, you still there? No, we're hopefully get them back here for a second. There we go. I hear
another wind gust. Apologize.
That's all right.
Every time that happens, it's a huge wind gust. So
all good.
Anyway, so 2007 was great. 2008, everything. I mean, as we all know, if we lived it, was disastrous. So what happened midway through in March of 2009? We got the tax credit. Tax credit from 2009 to 2010. Things were great. But towards the end of 2010, for the first time ever, and the only time ever, we had a timeline of when we had to install jobs. So the end of 2010, from a manufacturer, installer, all of that was chaotic as chaotic can be. Well, then what happens in 2011? Shit. All of a sudden, how are we going to get the phone to ring? I don't have $1,500 to give back to a homeowner, right? We had 30% up to $1,500. I don't have. So 2011 was hard times. 2012, still not great. And then all of a sudden, the Gorels go out of business in 2012, and there's a bunch of consolidation. And then all of a sudden, things pick back up, and now we're going, and now we're getting better, and now we're getting better, but we're still working really hard to get that. And then 2020 hits, and COVID hits, and then we're swimming in it. I mean, we're swimming in it. And then all of a sudden, about 2022, things die down. Well, what did we do? We pulled 5 years worth of business in 2 years, right? We pulled ahead 5 years worth of work in those 2 years. So now it's going to take some time to get that work back up. I think with the cold winter all of us experienced, I think with the gas prices going outrageous, I do believe that 2026, but more particularly 2027, is going to be a great year in home improvement. We just have to be diligent. We have to find different ways of trying to get those leads. Being creative, the traditional means of marketing are not dead, but we can't rely on those just solely. A lot of my guys that are doing very, very well are canvassing, or they're doing a lot with the internet. They're starting to do some AI generated stuff. And so there's a lot of different opportunities out there for us. We just have to be creative. And then when we do get those opportunities and get those leads, do the absolute best we can with them with the demo. And one thing I see when things get tough, people like to look at all their costs, right? And the first thing that as a dealer likes to do is, well, I'm selling too expensive of a window. Are you really? So who's actually paying for the window? The homeowner is. So if we're not doing a masterful presentation, if we're not demoing the absolute best, at Vytex, we have a lot of different options. A lot of other manufacturers have a lot of different options. And of course, you can go down. But if we're not showing them what they could have, how do they even know what's available and possible out there? So I've never gone to Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, Menards, whatever, and said, give me the cheapest piece of shit you got and go home and excited about it. Yeah. Again, 95% of all homeowners, the biggest investment they've made is their home. Why are we trying to sell a Me Too product or just a barely better than what they currently have? Show the best, sell the best, price out the best. And then if that's not something that they can find a way into their budget, that's why we sell financing too. I mean, self-financing, you don't even have to talk about what the cost of the window is. You just talk about what it costs them on a monthly budget without taking food off the table. Can they afford it? I mean, there's so many ways to go about it. But if we're not showing them the best, if we're not doing the demo, if we're not trying our hardest on every single appointment, we're doing ourselves, our company, and the homeowner a disservice. Because I truly, truly believe that I'm selling the best product with the best installation at the absolute best price this homeowner can see. And if you don't believe that when you're going in the home, you're not going to be very successful. You have to have that enthusiasm. You have to have that trust. You have to have that belief to be the most successful. Some of the most successful people I've met, the John Dorans, the Carl Fultons, a lot of other people like that, Tyson Schwartz out there, they truly, truly believe what they're doing is the best and the best. And if you're not truly believing what you're doing is the best of the best, either find that product you can believe in and that demo that you can believe in, or change your mindset on what you currently have and get that and make sure you demo it from A to Z. And again, focus on what's most important to the customer.
Those two names you threw out there, those guys blew my mind doing 5 and 6 million pre-COVID.
Still are, man. It's insane, man. Sure they're doing even more now. Yeah.
It's on that. People go, what do you mean? I go, that's pre-COVID numbers with those two. I remember.
Only windows and doors, man. Only windows and doors. So I'm not trying to throw shout outs. I'm just there's true life testimonials to those guys. They're all $7+ million guys, man.
That's amazing. The thing I'm glad you did say what you were saying, because it brought the question back to the forefront. Was there is a gap? Two things made me laugh. Remember the tax credit? What was it? You just said it. $1,200.
$1,500 up to it was 30% maxed out at $1,500.
And the thing that used to blow my mind, because you're right, we wrote a lot of checks or did a lot of credits there at the end of that year because we didn't have them in time. But you would meet then the next year, you would have reps going, oh man, we don't have that tax credit. And I'd be like, guys, it's $1,500. They were spending 30 grand to save $1,500. Like something doesn't, like there's a story still to be told. But the thing that has come up is, I don't know where, because I know on your side with the manufacturer side, but as a whole, we're probably somewhere between, some products are different, but 22 to 27% higher for the same thing that we were, say, 2020, before March of 2020, and where we are now. Kind of drives home the point. I mean, it's not really a question, but it is a challenge. Like you have to level up your value offering, your value proposition in some way.
No doubt about it. When costs go up like that, they don't go back down at the same rate. Costs have not gone back down. I mean, look at healthcare, look at what it costs for an employee, look at, employee costs are going, very, very difficult to keep employees happy. Costs of materials have skyrocketed. There's a potential silver crisis coming up. If that's the case, LOEs are going to go up. The fuel prices, because since the Iran thing, have gone up in diesel, they've gone up $1 a gallon. So, I mean, the price challenges are never going to go away, and they're real. And, anybody who comes in and tell you the price challenges aren't real is not being truthful and not being honest. But the only way to overcome that is by having the absolute best product and demoing that, because they're real for everybody else too. And what we used to think of, when I started in the industry, you had a window that you were trying to sell in the home for $400 and somebody was selling for $600. I could never get $600. Well, now it's $1,000 a window, but this guy's selling it for $1,500 a window or whatever. Say, well, I can never get that. You can always get it if you do it the right way. If you show that if your value far exceeds what you're charging the customer, you can always get it. Always, absolutely always. But you got to make sure that you prove that value. And the only way to do that is by doing a masterful presentation. To me, you've never even earned the right to get the close on a higher end product without a masterful presentation. I'm sure you can close some deals with a midline product at a midline price. Great. You can survive doing that from time to time, but you're not going to thrive. The ones thriving are doing the masterful presentation from A to Z, and they're really doing it all the way through. And they're truly giving value because they show that value in the home. And at the end of the day, when they do the right product with the right installation at a fair price, those customers are not only happy, but those are the ones that are doing the 5-star Google reviews. Those are the ones that are helping you do the organic lead generation and lead growth that we all desperately need. If you treat people right with the right products, the best products with the best installation, those are going to be your biggest advocates. And that's how you can help organically grow your company. You go to Mr. and Mrs. Jones' house and you do a great job and she's thrilled. And then you do the spider web and you start knocking on all the neighbors' houses. Guess what? A lot of times those houses are in the same age, also need to be keeping up with the Joneses with them, and also are curious what's going on. And she's singing your praises. Now, all of a sudden we own that block. Now we own that area. And, that's what we used to do. I understand people are busy and times are tough, but that's what we should get back to.
I was going to bring up, that's so true, right? It's like, hey, what did you used to do? Why'd you stop?
Because it got too easy. Because that's hard.
Yeah.
Let's be real. That's hard. This is
so true. So true. Hey, good question for you that because of and you don't have to give exact numbers, but obviously you have dealers, clients of yours that sell at a same window, one price point, and other ones that just, maybe their costs are lower, or again, they just don't believe in the price and they sell it lower. My question is, do you see a big drastic conversion rate difference between a dealer who sells that product less versus one that sells it at a higher price?
No, there's not a drastic difference. It's the people that have the system, the training, and the discipline are doing very, very well. It's the top organizations that you would think that have the discipline, the training, and they're constantly having either me, my reps, or other people constantly training on their product line to make sure that they're honing in and making sure they're not missing in their presentation. Those conversion rates are still pretty high. I'm not going to tell you they're exactly the same as they were in 2022, 2021, whatever it is, but it's still high. My best dealers are still closing a higher percentage than ever before. I have some dealers that are closing in the 50% range, believe it or not. Selling a high-end window at a good price.
That's what I was going to say. And they're getting top dollar.
Yeah, we're in the four figures easy. Yeah. 1,500 plus for that window. So they're doing it through financing. They're doing it through deals. But yeah, they're up there. I mean, and they're getting a fair price, but they're doing great work. And you're worth it. And that's one thing that the reps need to realize, especially younger reps. This is a deal. You're worth it. You're giving the homeowner added value.
Oh, man. We got to win pause for station identification, folks, from our unofficial sponsors while Steve works through a windstorm. Let's see. Hold on here. We'll come back. Let's see. He'll be back here. I feel it coming back.
Yeah, you guessed it. Another wind gust. I deeply apologize, man. No, Joe Rogan wouldn't put up with this shit, man.
Oh no, that's why he does them in person. But that wasn't going to happen. I'll come out to Laurel, as I like to call it, the next time you're in town, and we'll do it there, buddy. We'll do it there. Anything? Hey, real quick, man. I appreciate your time, and I want to respect your time. Plus, hopefully, you don't have to take cover somewhere. Some parting words for everybody. I think something that you brought up that I like hearing is, hey, 2026, 2027, going to be kind of looking back up again. But anything else that you want to share with the group? Again, they're all sides of the world, predominantly sales related, but anything you want to share before we jump?
Sure. I mean, I truly believe that in 2026 and more importantly, 2027, we're going to have a fantastic year. I mean, it's been the coldest year in most of the parts of the country that we've ever seen. Gas prices are going crazy. And that we are out of that 5-year rut. Like I said, in 2022, we had done by 2020, 2021, 2022, we had done 5-6 years worth of business that we pulled ahead. The age of the homes are starting to catch up to our need now. Right. So keep the course. If something's not working, okay, fine, do something else. I mean, FDR is one of my favorite presidents of all time. That the inability to do anything is the worst thing that you could ever do. Try something. If it doesn't work, try something else. Try something else again. Just keep trying. Don't just rest on our laurels. Keep pushing. And there are successful companies out there right now that are doing very well and growing like crazy. I don't want to share all their secrets out there, but I mean, there are success stories. So you might not be doing that or feeling that right now, but there are people who are. So let's find out. Let's do these things. Do the podcast. Joe, your group, and I'm not saying this because you're on, because you off me on. I don't ever chime in because I don't feel like I have the right, because I'm not working every day as an in-home sales rep, right? That's not how I earn my living. I earn my living by them and what they do. But I don't earn my living doing it daily. So I don't want to feel like a hypocrite by chiming in sometimes. But I review it all the time. Your group is phenomenal. It's a great group. Go to the QR Top 500 lives. Go to the accelerates. Ask the people. One great thing about this industry is some of the biggest and brightest leaders in our industry are wealths of knowledge and love sharing what they've learned. I mean, the Brian Elias's, the Brian Gottlieb's of the world, they can't wait to share. And we want to see success. There's so much business out there. Home improvement's going nowhere. It is not going to go anywhere. It's constantly evolving, but always going to be a need in our industry, in this country. And you have some of the biggest and brightest minds. Ask, try things and embrace technology, but don't just lean on it. And make sure that you treat every single lead that you have as precious as it can be, and do the absolute best you can on those leads. That's how you maximize yourself. That's how you maximize your company. And that's how you get to great wealth. I mean, our industry, a lot of times, some of the best reps in the industry make, high six figures and don't even have to worry about a lead. The leads are given to them, right? Yeah. So they've earned that right over time. They work as much as they want, as hard as they want, but they're so tuned in and they know exactly what they're doing, and they have their demo down and their questions down so well. They're beyond wealth that they could ever dream of. And that's what this industry can do. I tell everybody when I do a sales meeting right from the start, if you just want this as a job, this industry is not for you. If you wanted this as your career, there's no better career that you can find in this industry that has the freedom that we create and the ability to go into people's homes and truly, truly, truly sell a value-added product to them. And it's very, very rewarding that way, but you have to treat it as such. You have to be the master of your product line. You have to be the master of what you're doing. You have to treat it as a career and not a job. And when you do, everything works out.
Spot on, man. Couldn't have said it better. Steve, is it cool if, obviously I hope people will reach out to you if, from a window manufacturer perspective,
Sure.
Obviously I know you're indifferent to that. That's not why you're here by any stretch of the imagination, but also in general, they can connect through the group, through DM. I'm sure you can reach out and shoot a DM to you and get back to you.
Yeah, feel free to call me. I mean, I'll give out my number. Anybody can contact me. I'll give out my email address. It's
what we'll just to make it easy is in the group. That way it stays within the private group. We'll go ahead and just comment on it when I share the video again. Just put it in the comments if you don't mind.
I have no problem. I mean, I am busy, so if I don't respond right away, but I will get back to people. And I do get back to everybody. And I do have a 5.5 hour drive one way to Maryland. So my Mondays and mornings and Thursday afternoons are usually doing, I have some windshield time.
There you go. There you go. Nice. Steve, man, I can't thank you enough. And folks, please definitely take advantage and re-listen to this. There's plenty of, nuggets that were dropped even in between our wind issues, but still good. I appreciate you hanging on with us. And Steve, thanks again, brother.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Good luck, everybody.